What up, what up, what up? It's Kwasi and welcome back to my real estate blog. Today is going to be another edition of Hot Topics and Hot Markets, and today we're going to be discussing earnest money. All right, welcome back on my blog. I have discussed earnest money before, but today we are going to discuss earnest money in the context of a hot market. Now, in a normal market in most areas, your earnest money is deposited within a couple of days of mutual acceptance, and you have a contingency or two to protect that money so that if you walk away from the deal because of one of those contingencies, you get your money back. When you go through with the transaction and you close on the house, that earnest money will go towards your cash to close. Now, let's put this in context of a hot market like we have in the greater Seattle area. People have to be really aggressive with their offer if they want to get the house. And one of the factors to a really aggressive offer is non-refundable earnest money, which means if you walk away from the deal, the seller keeps that money. Now, if your broker knows what they're doing, you will have a clause in there that covers you in case the seller defaults and just says, I don't want to go through with the transaction, period. But I know that there are some of you that are even cringing just knowing that even with that clause in there. But understand, it's calculated risk. If you have listened to my blog for any length of time, you have heard me talk about calculated risk before. But again, let's talk about it in the context of non-refundable earnest money. Earnest money goes towards the purchase price when you close. So if everything goes to plan and you close on the house, the non-refundable earnest money still goes towards the purchase of the property. So your risk is really if something goes wrong and you don't close on the house. So how do you minimize the risk? How do we make sure that we're gonna close on this? First, you have to be okay with any of the issues with the house. Few houses are perfect, so more likely you will want to do a pre-inspection, which we discussed in my last video. The inspection isn't pass or fail, so you're just finding out what are the issues and you are deciding if you can live with those, but also will they pass the appraisal. If you are getting financing, be sure that you are confident that the appraisal is also going to come in at the value that you need it to be, or that you are confident that you have the funds to cover the difference in a low appraisal if that is needed. That means you will have to have a comp that clearly shows this is the absolute bottom price and that you could cover the difference from that price point to your max offer. This is a whole other topic, and we will have another video on this soon. Now, before you go making non-refundable earnest money offers, you will want to know if the earnest money funds are being released to the seller and what risks come with that. And if it is being released, that you have some recourse if the seller defaults. Earlier, I mentioned calculated risk. So doing non-refundable earnest money, releasing it to the seller and not having some verbiage for seller default isn't just risky, it's foolish. And deciding on doing non-refundable earnest money isn't an easy conversation, and there may be more to discuss for your particular situation. I always advise talking to an attorney in that regard with non-refundable earnest money. If we work together, we will definitely discuss this during your consultation. And the truth of the matter is that in this market, we're showing signs of non-refundable earnest money being a conversation, not just in high-end markets, but a conversation in all price ranges. So even if you aren't up against non-refundable earnest money in your multiple offers and your price point, if you're willing to take the calculated risk, that could be your secret sauce to getting your offer accepted. If you want to do a free, no obligation, writing a winning offer strategy session, just click on the link over on the side of the blog and schedule something directly in my calendar. During this session, you will learn the strategies that are working in this market and find out which ones are right for you. There's no obligation, there's no sales pitch, just a real conversation. I hope that you have found this video valuable. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.